Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my videos. Today we're gonna do a oil shock upgrade on one of my favorite little RCs, this guy right here. So this is a Pxtoys 9302, I think. This is Enoze 9306. They're the same RC family. Enoze, Pxtoys are the same. These are the 1/18 scale. You can see I already did oil shocks on the 9302 Truggy. Love this thing. And then this was one of my favorites. You'll see a little bit in the video. I love the staggered wheels on the little buggy. But I wanted to give you guys the shock test comparison. So stock shocks, really bouncy. Okay, and then here is the upgraded shocks. Nice, solid dampening, very nice. So great upgrade, great performance, very cheap. These are metal oil shocks from the WPLC 14 C24 kit series. Cheap. I think I got them from AliExpress for maybe like $7 or so. So very good. So I'm gonna go over what they look like inside, how to fill them, the adjustment types on what you can do with these because they are limited, and then we will install them on this guy. Thanks. Here's the shot of the side-by-side stock versus upgrade, and you can see eye to eye they are pretty much the same, so pretty much a perfect fit for these Pxtoys and HS series. Here's a shot of the shocks, closer look. This one is a slightly exploded view. There's an internal spring, and then you got your shaft and piston. When you remove it, you do need to remove it from here and not here. It is a little bit hard because there's a little rubber O-ring right after this friction wheel. So I filled up 2 of these and I did them in different ways, and I'll show you how. And I'm about to fill up another one as a demo. So when you do fill these in, because you can see the chamber is on top, you fill them upside down obviously, but it's different because the piston, you have to set it how you want it from the top. So this is one that I set about halfway when I screwed it in and tightened it, and you can see the dampening's pretty nice. I know you can't tell the difference between this versus this. This is a spring, there's no oil in here. This one's nicely oil dampened, feels good. Now this one though, I didn't displace the piston, I had it just on top and I tightened it, and you can definitely see this one's super firm. So that's basically how you adjust the dampening you want on this, is how you set the piston in when you tighten everything up. So this one I might have to go in and readjust, just depends if I want a stiffer setting, but this is nice for my application. Okay. So I mentioned in the earlier part, you don't want to unscrew from here. This is just the holder and what holds the seal to the bottom of the piston, but you actually do want to unscrew from this wheel right here, a little friction. Okay, and these are pretty tight. I've had to get a plier in the past just to get them off, to scratching them all up. Actually, you can see here is it on my Pxtoys. But anyways, these shocks are the WPL C14 C24 shocks, the metal ones, and these work great on 1/18 scale, and I think even some 1/16 scale RCs. I use these on the Enoze Pxtoys HS 1/18, and they fit perfectly. So I happen to have some 15 weight Team Low C racing oil. I figured 15 works well. These are tiny RCs, so not a big deal. But here's a better shot. Just the chamber, you got your spring, and that spring makes it a little bit challenging to get this together, and I'll show you in a bit. But this is what I'm talking about, how you want to set that piston in when you tighten it. It's just how far in you want it. Now let me fill this up. I would not fill it to the top just because there's a lot of displacement, and it gets really messy if you've done shocks. And I waited forever to do one of these sets just because I hate doing these because they're so tiny. Anyways, let me see if I could get a good shot of this. First, I do want to set the piston in, and you see all the oil already coming out. And that's where your chance to get all the air bubbles are out, is you want to push it in and out till you make sure all your air bubbles are out. And you already see it's overfilled, but I'm gonna go ahead, and you see I'm gonna let some space on the shaft so it's not fully depressed. I'm fully depressing it when I'm trying to get my air bubbles out, but then I'm gonna release a little bit off. It's hard to get a side shot, or I'm gonna let all my oil out. You see that? I'm gonna go about halfway, put it down. Shoot, lost it. So halfway, get my oil or air out. Then I'm gonna screw it. So you see the piston or the shaft is already out a little bit, and then I can let go. And then now I gotta tighten this. But there is a trick to tightening that, and it's annoying because the O-ring likes to pop out, so you have to keep an eye out for that. I don't think it'll happen in this case, which is good. And there we go. So it's hard to get it adjusted, but you can see this is like a midway between these two, so I guess it's an interesting demo. Here is a nicely set. This one's medium. You can see I can't get it fully depressed, and if I do push it any harder, I know that I'll probably pop that O-ring out. But this is like a medium setting, and then this one is super stiff setting. So no oil, light dampening, medium dampening, and stiff dampening. So I'll probably have to go back and adjust these depending on how I want this set up. Alright guys, so I got all my shocks filled. It's really hard to get them exact, so the two stiffer ones I have here for my rear. This one's slightly stiffer. I'm going to stick it on the motor and ESC side, which I think are slightly heavier. And then these are my lighter for the front. I could be wrong, but oh well, I'm going to throw it on. So on this guy, super easy. Don't even have to take the body off. But you can see I took off the stock shock on the left side, and I'll do it on the right side. So just 2 screws on the top shock tower. These are very simple. There's no top adjustment for these, but you don't want to lose these screws. Make sure to hold on to them and get that in shot. Sorry, hard to look in the camera. Make sure I'm getting the shot while taking these off. Alright, there's the second one. Now, you will no longer need these little washer spacers. So, just hold on to that and then screw them out. Like that. Anyways, I'm not gonna do all of this and take up your time, so let me get this screw out and we'll install one of the new ones on there. Okay. can see how it fits inside there. I use the flat side as the washer for the screw, and then line it up. So I'm gonna line it up. Line it up, get the top one started. Okay. Now the bottom does have adjustments, and it was in the last setting, which you can see there's 3 holes for you to adjust. I'm gonna keep it in the last one. And actually I should show you guys a shock height comparison between the stock. And there we go. We got the right rear shock installed, front and top, or top and bottom. And then just got to do this left side now. So I'll get this put on and I'll show you the difference afterwards. Alright, so I just finished this up. You can see how it looks with the new oil shocks on there. Pretty cool. And here's the comparison. You can see it doesn't pogo like it did before. One bounce and then nice plants. So definitely recommend oil shocks to any RC. Here's the front action. Here's that rear stiffer action. And I did run into an issue for some reason on the 9306. They made the front screws shorter than the rear screws. So I used the rear screws for the front, and I had to find another set of screws for the back. So keep that in mind. I did not run into that issue on the 9302, so there was a little bit different in the screws that they used. But again, one of my favorite little RCs. This mod also works on the HS 18321 series, 322, 118 scale budget RC. So thanks for watching.